We have the non-newsiest news ever for Mass Effect 5 and from BioWare. I think it's worth talking about. This is a hiring thing. If you've paid attention to me long enough, even back to the Division 2, you know I keep an eye on this. Normally, I have to kind of sleuth it a little bit, but this time it was given right to us. So let's talk about a new hiring position that's happening and why it's probably a pretty significant deal for the next Mass Effect game and for BioWare in general. Okay, so here is the Twitter post. I'm never going to call it X, not seriously at least, from Mike Gamble, who's the head of the next Mass Effect game, which is the only game we are under the impression BioWare is currently making, and a change from previous tradition. So it says, "Hi, I'm hiring a very important senior leadership role. They'll report to me, and it's going to be awesome." And here they have a link to EA Jobs page. It says production director. So here it opens up to this page. So this is a job that's in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which makes sense. That's where we're primarily probably developing this game. I don't have any idea what's going on with the Austin office at this point. But here, if we go through kind of the history of BioWare, it says, "We are looking for a production director with a passion for the Mass Effect universe to serve as a high impact leader on our Mass Effect title. You will partner closely with creative leadership, studio teams, and internal and external partners to champion the game's vision and ensure its execution at the highest quality bar. You bring a strong player first mindset, deep knowledge of the competitive gaming landscape, and a commitment to building inspired teams through mentorship, collaboration, and best in class production practices. You're driven to continuously elevate both the game and the team, fostering a strong production culture while translating ambitious ideas to outstanding player experiences." Says that the production director will report to the executive producer, who is Mike Gamble, and the location is Edmonton, and it's going to be a hybrid job, 3 days a week on site at the studio. So 2 days a week in theory, not at the studio. I bet that changes as it gets closer to release, but that's a whole different conversation to have. So if you go through the responsibilities here, this is, probably the most senior position that they could be hiring for right now. Says act as a bridge between creative intent and development execution. From some developers I've interacted with after this was announced and even before, this is basically the linchpin director spot. Now, something to keep in mind is that back in 2022, they hired like 5 different director positions. All of those people are still, as far as I can tell, on the team. So it's been, almost 4 years since that happened, with pre-production, all that. And this wasn't one of those positions. So it's not like someone left and then they're replacing someone. This appears to be, well, I would assume, a new position indicating their where they're at in development. So if you go through this, this is, people who are dealing with the budget, dealing with production, dealing with, how long is this going to take to make, or, keeping everything on track and all of that. And it comes with some pretty hefty qualifications. You see 10 plus years of game development production experience, including senior level leadership on large AAA titles. And all that. So I don't want to go over the top of this. I don't expect them to have a big announcement tomorrow. But this would, and this is something that came up in my Discord as well, this would indicate there's a pretty good chance that N7 Day this year will very, very likely come with a full production announcement. It could happen sooner than that. When Dragon Age the Veilguard went into full production, they didn't wait for Dragon Age Day. I don't think that day has quite the same weight that Mass Effect N7 Day does, but that's neither here nor there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we get something before that. Potentially, as soon as they hire this position, it wouldn't surprise me if they go into full production mode. This also would be more likely to me to indicate that they're probably going to use co-developing studios, kind of like Battlefield did with their most recent game, where we may see like an EA Motive or potentially like a Respawn or another studio help out with the development of this. They could use an outside studio as well, but they have enough within EA they could probably take from that. This is a good sign. If you wanted to see a proof of life from the next Mass Effect game from BioWare, this is definitely it. I don't think this position would be allowed to be hired. If this posting would be allowed to go up, the funding for this position would be allocated if there weren't serious plans to actually complete this and move forward with it. Obviously, this is in the face of the upcoming acquisition, which is likely going to happen here, I believe, in April, between April and May, and all of the worries with that. The hope, and especially with the situation they're going into, is that they're going to be allowed to keep doing what they're doing, and to try to figure out ways to make more money that way. What that's going to mean in the long run, it's hard to tell. We don't know. But what I'm going to do is take good news when we can get it. This position being hired seems to probably be the last step before they go into full production. And that's what I'm going to hope for. I'm going to hope it works out and that we get to play this game in here in 2 or 3 years. And that I'll have lots of things to talk about between now and then. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments. If you have any of your own thoughts, or if you know anything that maybe I don't about what this may mean for the project, please tell me. Subscribe to the channel if you want more Mass Effect news and coverage and all that. I'll be doing all of it up until the release and after of this next game. Maybe hit the like button, gets more people to see the video. And if you really want to support what I'm doing here, consider becoming a YouTube member. You get videos like this one just a bit early and some other perks. If you want to see the other stuff I'm doing, or see other ways to support what I'm doing, check out the links in the description of the video. That includes an extra life link for a fundraiser I'm doing in 2026, trying to get to $1,000. We're at 100. Feel free to contribute. That is all I have for this one. So until next time.